Andrew Berry and the Browns are on the clock today. They're slated to pick with the 54th overall selection in the NFL draft. We'll talk about who we want specifically player-wise coming up on the WKYC show. But for now, and Jay, we'll start with you, then we'll go G, and then we'll go to Jason.
Okay.
What is your confidence that Andrew Berry will nail this?
You want me to give my confidence and then the player all at
no,
once?
No, save the player
save it
for the
later?
TV. I just want your confidence.
Okay. I'm a 6. I'm a solid 6 on the confidence meter. And here's why I'm not higher. I still think it's going to be a wide receiver. And for some reason, what this current regime has done to analyze wide receivers has been an abject fail. A 100% fail rate. Give me the name of the guy outside of Coop. Give me the name of the guy who they put a price tag on and had a certain evaluation book on, and that player has lived up to or exceeded what they had hoped he would be.
At receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not existent at receiver.
And that's why I'm saying I'm a 6. I do think they're going to go receiver. I do. And in part because I still think it's the area of greatest need. Because a lot of these guys that they've taken, either via draft or trades or whatever, have not been the players that we expected them to be. So, if suddenly you can say, well, yeah, Bell's going to be the guy that we thought was going to be a third-round draft pick, or Elijah Moore is going to be this freak that everyone thought he was going to be, then maybe you could convince yourself to go to another area. But I'm subscribing to G's theory of Operation Stockpile.
There you go.
They did it last year on the defensive front. To me, the position of wide receiver is as great a need as defensive front was for them 2 years ago. They've got one really, really good player, and everybody else is just a bunch of dudes, just a bunch of guys that are going to catch passes out of just because they're in the lineup. But they don't have a second star. I'm not sure that the guy they went out and paid from Denver is going to be that guy. So take a wide receiver. But unless they've changed the way they're evaluating draft wide receivers, I have a very low confidence that this one's going to be a difference maker.
Yeah, listen, I got to go 8.5. And the reason I'm going to go 8.5 is way too many guys left. It's way too many named guys on the board. And by the way, guys, if you have heard about the guys, that's not a bad thing. I think nowadays we feel like if you have a name, you're going after just names. No, like they have a name because they actually did well in the college.
There's a reason. Yeah.
There's a reason to have a name. Like no one
or the combine.
Or they've been balling and done both, and they got some sort of backing behind them. So to me, if you're looking at it, I want a receiver, right? And we've been talking about it. All the receivers is left on the board. Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk is still there. Troy Franklin is still. Brendan Rice, your guy, is still there. Roman Wilson, a Michigan guy. I know people won't like that. But you got Malachi Corey still there on the board. There's all kind of guys.
I'm surprised
Burton.
Coleman's still available, to be perfectly honest.
Listen, everybody wanted a quarterback yesterday. So,
it is crazy.
And by the way, on Keon Coleman, according to PFF's Day 2 mock draft, he falls to the Browns at 54.
Really?
According to the 33rd team's mock draft, he's the very first pick in the second round at 33.
So when I looked at the available player list this morning, I thought, well, he's gone. I'm not even going to think about Coleman. I'd be stunned if he lasted 5 picks into the second round.
That's why people is chilling. That's why people want to get up at that 33rd pick.
So let's just say he slips 4, and he's available with the 5th pick in the second round. Jason, please tell me at that point Cleveland's scurrying to put a package together to move up to get that pick.
If that's who they want, yeah. I do think that this could be the year. We talked about it at the open. I think this could be the year that they are aggressive and go up just because of the lack of spots on the 53. But I'm not convinced that they have to take a receiver.
I know you're not.
At this spot.
No.
Like, you have a first-round pick next year. Do it next year.
See, I can't even talk next year. I can't get those words out of my mouth.
But here's the thing.
Because the window is closing.
But you have this quarterback who's supposed to be great. You have enough weapons for him. I know Operation Stockpile, there's only so many receivers you can carry on the roster.
I don't count David Bell as a receiver.
What do you count him as?
A Minimowski.
I don't think he's going to be on the roster.
I can't count him. I can't.
If he's on the roster, I think the Browns are still in trouble.
It's one or the other. Either you have this quarterback you believe in because he makes everybody around him better, because that's
But I
what
haven't
franchise
seen that out of
quarterbacks
him
do.
yet. But I haven't seen that out of him yet.
But is this second-round guy really going to be the one piece that puts it over the top? I think that there's – I'm just not convinced
so
they have
what
to go the
position?
receiver
Okay,
route.
if not wide receiver, then where are they going? Where do they need to go?
Well, I don't want to give away Mike's whole plan, but I think I would be fine if they take a running back. I think running back is a more pressing need than receiver because
you know
we just
what?
don't know.
Now, you know
no,
what?
I'm just going to bet
Jason,
on Nick Chubb.
You know what? I'm glad you just said that, because Operation Stockpile is of the thought process that running back could be a mix too.
I mean,
listen.
There's more question marks and possibly need at running back than there is at receiver.
And Foreman is not
But
that.
all indications are we're going to be a 70-30 offense.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that there's running backs out there that fit with where they're going, with what they want to
No,
do.
but if you're all in on the pass,
And the beauty
then
of where
build
they're
up the pass assets.
and the beauty of where this roster is at is I truly believe that they can go best available. There's not many years where I believe that to be the case.
No, yeah, and there's some teams that can't do that.
Yeah, I believe that's true. And if there's one guy that on their best available board is in the 20s and he's still there at 45, 48, yeah, hit the gas.
Make the
move. It doesn't matter what the position is. Just go get 'em.
Jonathan Brooks out of Texas, love him. Trey Benson out of Florida State, love him a lot. And here's a guy I wouldn't mind having a Browns jersey. Don't hate me. Listen, shout out to the Buckeyes. Blake Corum.
Yeah.
I like Blake Corum.
Well, the two guys you mentioned from Texas and Florida State my guess would be there's not going to be a running back go in the top 53 picks.
Well,
so you're probably going to have your pick of guys.
was
at
there one
54.
taken yesterday? There was.
No.
No.
No, there wasn't.
No.
So the best running back is available.
That's why.
Mel Kiper has talked it into reality.
Well, no, that's why when we get to the TV show, you'll see if you have the pick of who you want at that spot, I think it makes a lot of sense to go running back.
All right.
So, Jason, how confident are you, regardless of position, that Barry's going to nail this pick?
I actually have the exact same as G, 8.5.
Which is crazy because
Yeah.
you guys look at things
Yeah.
in completely different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say 8.5 because I have faith. I'm not discounting receiver, but I'm not basing the whole thing on receiver because I'm not convinced they have to go receiver route. But I do like their process of how they've drafted. I think that they've gotten better every year. And I've said it 100 times on the show. The longer you do something, the better you get at it. You make mistakes your first year, even your second year. You learn from them. They haven't learned all their lessons at receiver, clearly. But I think you have a first-round pick next year. That's when Amari, you probably may have to make the decision, move on from him, Elijah Moore, whatever. You're tied to Judy, obviously. But the first-round receivers seem to be doing very well these last few years. I think you could wait another year on receiver and then go get a top guy next year in the first round. But for now, I have full faith in this front office picking the right guy, regardless of what it is, because there's not a glaring need.
Let's go
because
back
they
the last
can
three.
go by their board.
Go back the last three drafts, the first player that the Browns selected, and give them grades. I mean, I know the further away you get, the more accurate that grade's going to be, and some are going to be incomplete.
Who was it, Tillman last year?
Tillman was the first player selected last year, and I can't give them more than a C-.
Was that the third round?
Third round,
Yeah.
but I think he had a second-round grade. He
Yeah,
slipped
but
because
still,
of the injury.
it's the third. So last year
and
was Tillman
receivers,
in
by the
third.
way, can have an immediate impact.
Sure, yeah,
And
they can.
he did not.
But usually, I think guys third round, fourth round. Nakua is the exception. I think those guys take a little bit longer for them to make. I don't know how many third, fourth, fifth round receivers are making an impact on day one. I can't think of many.
Well, yeah, Nakua is the outlier, and he was in the sixth round.
That's why I be all about moving up. We don't know.
Okay, so what would we give the Tillman grade? Probably close to an incomplete, but you can't give him better than a C.
C. No, C.
Okay.
C minus.
And year
I'm
before
gonna
was
C minus
year
too.
before was Emerson in the fourth round, right?
Now,
A.
that's
Emerson
a hit.
third
Hey,
round.
Third round. Okay,
That's a hit.
That's an A
And
plus.
That's an A plus.
That cover up for a lot of stuff. DeJuan Jones, that cover up for a lot of
Well,
stuff.
DeJuan was-
That's
DeJuan
a
was
four.
later.
That's a fourth round, right?
Yeah.
No, he just wants to do first.
Yeah,
picks.
I'm just going
Oh, okay.
first pick.
So
Yeah.
Tillman, Emerson, and then who was 3 years ago?
Greg Newsome was 2021.
I think that's a B.
Yeah, I say B.
Yeah.
He starts for you, right? He
Yeah,
starts for you.
I'm with you guys.
Bull would probably give it a D minus.
Bull was so out of pocket the other day on that.
Bull was
he
adamant
was
he's
so
not a
wrong
first
on
round
that.
pick.
What was he saying about it?
He's not a first round pick. He's not a first round talent. History has proven he's not a first-round talent. And the rest of us disagreed with him.
Hey, listen, man.
Yeah, I would
Hey,
tend
hey,
to disagree with that too, but I don't think he's a slam dunk
We should
first round talent.
I think we should do this. I don't know, McNuggets. We should go back and rewatch every game, right? Because I just, sometimes you be forgetting. People forget that Greg Newsome low-key won the Ravens game with a pick six.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Let's not act like he didn't have a whole pick six. Like,
Yeah, that's why I could never say he would be.
Like-
If you're going to classify first rounders as bust or
like-
boom, I mean, he's definitely not a bust.
No.
It's a hit.
And-
It's
and-
not
I
a big
think-
hit, but it's a single.
and just because Martin Emerson we perceive as better than him does not mean he's garbage. Like, he's like, and think about it. He may be playing out of position in his mind. He's like, I play slot. I had to learn a whole new position.
Yeah.
And I'm playing out of position.
Well, in his mind, he is playing out of position.
Yeah, like his mind, he like, like he might be better outside. Who knows? He's not gonna get that chance here, but
I was thinking about this morning driving in. I might write about this next week, but the 3 years the Browns didn't have first-round picks, they actually survived those years better than I thought that they
because
did.
because they overachieved with some of those picks.
Like, think about it.
But the Tillman, I can't put in there. But you're right.
I would like to go back and look how many teams did not have a first-round pick for 3 consecutive years.
The Rams.
Yes,
Rams
great
did it.
call. They've had
and look what they've done.
yeah, and they've
Now,
survived. They won a
hit
Super Bowl.
Grand Slam home run in the 6th round.
But
Two
yeah,
of them.
Yeah, but I would bet there's probably not that many teams in the first place that didn't have a first-round pick 3 years in a row.
No, it's rare that you do that.
So what does that say? Does that say that that first-round picks are overvalued, or does it say that these are just high competent front offices that can overcome obstacles? I don't know. Like, I'm not throwing a theory
You know what?
out.
I think that would be a good deep dive, though, Jay.
Of
I think
just-
you should write about that.
it's just
I'd
interesting
read
to
every
me.
word of it. I
Yeah.
think that concept is fascinating because I do think it puts an onus on your front office. When you trade those picks away, you can't miss.
Yeah,
You've
got
got
to find
hit.
hits somewhere in that
Somewhere in
draft.
there. There've got to be Emerson's.
Yeah.
There's got to be DeJuan Jones.
and on top of that, think about it. The guy that they traded all those first round picks for has played 11 times.
Yeah,
So like
Yeah.
you
It really is a recipe for disaster.
you really had to have something.
if I'd have told you the day of the day of that trade, you're not going to have a first-round pick for 3 years, and by the way, Deshaun's only going to play 11 games, or whatever. Is it really 11? Is that all it is? Oh my God.
yeah,
Is it?
11.
I think it's technically 12 because he played.
Yeah,
he
but he
played-
started the
he
Colts
played-
started the
Oh,
Colts game.
okay.
I don't
All right.
count that.
Yeah.
He
But-
played
So then
one
11.
series.
But
and
imagine
threw a
going
pick.
back to the day of the trade and saying they're not going to have a first-round pick for 3 years, and Deshaun's only going to play 11-plus games over those. Over the
I would
years.
show you a team that's going to miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. And in my mind, the only reason they made the playoffs last year is due to the guy that finally stepped up at quarterback
Yeah.
who's no longer here.
And you say, well, by the way, Nick Chubb's going to miss a whole year.
Oh,
Yeah.
recipe
What?
for
It's-
disaster.
I'd be like, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
no,
and,
it is.
and I think
It is.
that's where I think my 8.5 comes from. Is I have full faith in this coaching staff and this front office, and I don't know that I've ever said that about the Browns in 25 years.
No, clip that, put that in the time capsule. That is the first.